Hello, hello, wherever you reside. My name is Bill Hildebrand. I'm the creator, or I should say, I'm the founder of AquaponicsSurvivor.com, and I welcome you to my review of the program called Aquaponics for You, which is created by John Fay. It was created and written by John Fay. It's a terrific program that is really meant, I think, primarily for beginners. What I mean by beginners, people, you don't have to know a whole lot about aquaponics. You don't have to know a lot about fish. You don't have to know a lot about gardening, raising vegetables. John will give you all of the details in this program through two different methods. He has a PDF report and a very nice step-by-step video which walks you through the entire setup of the system. Again, don't feel as though you have to be real knowledgeable. You don't have to be a carpenter. You don't have to be somebody who is really handy at building something. John will walk you through the process and really, a step-by-step. First thing John does is he goes into a little bit of history of aquaponics and how the system works. He's not going to get into big detail here, but it's nice to kind of get a background of where aquaponics came from, the synergy between the fish and the produce or the plants that you're growing, how it all fits together, the reason is for some of the things and how they work. So it's just basically kind of a real nice little background about aquaponics. He also talks about the best location to put the system whatever your situation is. If you're going to have it inside because you may live in a northern climate where you'd like to have it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, then, he'll talk about a little bit about, where to place it in your home. So you make sure that you take advantage of the sun for one thing. Now, certainly grow lights are another option, but of course they add cost to the system. So if you can, anytime you can take advantage of the free sunlight, which is probably the best anyway, would be great. If you live in a more warm climate, you might be able to put it out on a deck or out on a patio, or you could even build a greenhouse. And you could do that in either climate, unless it's real extreme, and run the system, all year long, which would be the best idea, I think. He's going to get into a little bit of the chemistry and the maintenance of the system, and under ideal conditions, and there's a big reason for that. The reason is that unless you take care of the system, keep it in balance, do the little bit of maintenance that's necessary, and believe me, it's just a little bit of maintenance that's necessary, usually on a weekly basis. The reason is if you don't, the result will be dead fish, and that's the last thing you want, since the fish are your primary source of nutrients for growing all of your plants. He'll go through that in a little bit of detail, gets into a little bit of the chemistry of it, but not enough that's going to bore you to death or really spook you in any way, shape, or form. He's also going to talk about sourcing the components. Where to get all the stuff, the fish, where you get the net pots for the seedlings and how to start those. He'll talk about the hardware that's needed to put the system together. So very good with that. What's really nice about that, it's going to save you a lot of time. It will give you sources of product that is already proven and reliable. He will also tell you, like I say, where to find the most of the stuff, whether it's local, or sometimes he'll give you websites where you can order it from the website, because again, he knows that that's the best place to get it and probably get also the best price. Very good about that. I think that's one of the strongest components of this program, is being able to know where to get everything, what to get locally, what you need to order off the internet. Then he gets into putting the system together. A lot of that is done with great diagrams that he did in the PDF. He drew diagrams of all the piping system, how to put it together, again, where it goes, what it does. So you really get a thorough background of what you're doing while you're doing it. So it's not as though you have to figure any of this stuff out yourself. Very step by step. Then he walks you through how all the connections get put together. And again, he'll use diagrams for this. He'll show you where the different connections are, what the reason for them is, what they do. Very, very nice. And then he'll get into, adding the water to the grow bed and the fish tank, that type of thing. And at that point, that nice little primer of that PDF, which I highly suggest that that's what you would go through first, just to get an idea how things are going to look, what's involved. And then at that point, it's time to go ahead and take a look at the video. So it does come with a nice video, which is step-by-step. John goes out to his workshop, basically puts a system together from the very beginning to the end, demonstrates the tools that are necessary, how to use them, what's going on, what he's doing with them, shows you how to glue or screw the different pipe connections together, how to set up the pump, just really a thorough step-by-step and a nice, easy pace between using the PDF as a nice resource and then watching the video. There's really no problem with putting this whole system together. One thing I think is terrific about John's system and why I think this program is ideal for people that are going to just get started is the fact that it's very compact. I would estimate from looking at the program that it takes about the size of, let's say, a kitchen table is about the amount of space that it takes. So it's very compact, so I think it could easily fit into a place in your house if you could find that ideal spot. John estimates that the cost to put this whole thing together, it's including everything, is around $400. He did modify that somewhat and saying, you could really reduce that cost, maybe in some cases significantly, depending on what you might have around your house already. For instance, if you have some scrap 2x4s somewhere that are just laying around, those are used for some of the support of the grow bed, for instance. He even said if you had an old bathtub laying around, that could be your fish tank. There's a possibility that you can cut that cost down somewhat with materials that you might already have around the house. I'm going to recommend this system to you. I think it is definitely one of the best systems on the market. It is thorough. It is easy to follow. It is step-by-step. And it can get you started growing that tremendous ready supply of fresh, organic, healthy food for your family. It can be used if you put it indoors, or again, if you live in a warm climate, it can deliver food to you all year long. Nice, fresh vegetables, some fruits, even flowers. Pretty much you can grow whatever you want in here. There's some restrictions, and John will get into that and tell you kind of what doesn't work in an aquaponics system well. So it also comes with a 100% solid money-back guarantee for the first 60 days. So what have you got to lose? Give it a try. I mean, when you can get your money back if you're just totally not happy with it, that's great. But I think you will find that this is, if you are really serious about getting into some aquaponic gardening, you can't find a better program than this. Also, John's going to throw in 6 bonus items. They are pretty nice here. Let me go through them real quick for you here. One is called Organic Gardening for Beginners. Kind of nice since you're doing some organic gardening here. Gives you some hints. Herbs for health and home. I tell you what, if you're not already doing this, using different, especially fresh herbs when you're cooking, just makes a world of difference in how your dishes taste and the health of them. There are so many herbs that are great for health just by themselves, and that could be a book worth the price of the program all by itself. Guide to Flower Gardening. If you love flowers, this would be a great guide, as well as possibly, you can grow some flowers in your aquaponics system. And you'd be surprised how fast things grow and how well they grow in this aquaponics system. Well, this may not be for everybody, but what the heck, it's just a bonus. Comes along free. Worm Farming, Beginner's Guide to Starting a Worm Farm. If you like to do composting, or if you have a need for composting, just even if you've got flower beds outside and you'd like to use Some terrific worm farming is the best way to grow or to produce compost. Guide to organic cooking. Again, healthy way to go, using that great organic produce that you're going to be producing out of your aquaponics garden. That book could come in very handy. And then finally, eating healthy. Nothing could be said bad about eating healthy. Believe me, many of my websites deal with health. I've been in the health field for 40 years. I love eating healthy. You do not have to sacrifice taste to eat healthy. How do you get started? Well, it's very simple. All you have to do is go down to the banner below this video, click on it. It'll take you to John's website where he'll go through a few more things. Again, he'll reinforce the guarantee. All you have to do then at that point is just look for the Buy Now button. So if you're really serious about cutting your grocery bill, which I mean can be substantial, John estimates that the average family, if they were buying all organic vegetables, spend up to $300 a month. Can you imagine? Think about saving even what you spend now just on vegetables and some fruits, even flowers, that type of thing, which you could grow yourself in your own home, and they'd be, first of all, they'd be much fresher. You know they're organic. You know they haven't been treated with a bunch of stuff. Not going to get into that here, but just letting you know that that's what you get when you get an a aquaponic garden. Having those fresh organic vegetables all year long, and actually, what I keep forgetting to mention here is the fresh, healthy fish. The great source of protein you get from fish that's been raised again in a healthy environment. You can harvest the fish as they grow bigger, and then just come back, substitute them with smaller ones again, let them grow up again, and you got again a constant source of new fish and produce. So the best time to do it is right now. Take action. Simply click on that banner below. Really appreciate you coming by. Thank you for now. Goodbye for now.